Afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this special edition of Small Business Breakthroughs. It's not on the usual Thursday, so that kind of threw me off. So we're here on Tuesday, and we are going to be introducing and talking about our new Latino SBDC at the Ohio SBDC at Columbus State Community College. So this is a new initiative. It's one of those where it's kind of like it's new, but it's not new, things like that. So we'll talk about that as we go along. We have our business advisor, the person that's really in charge of this program for us here at the SBDC, Pamela Alvaro, is with us. And then Ariana Ola is also with us from the city of Columbus. And they are a big proponent and big supporter of what we're doing. As a matter of fact, they are the primary funder of what we're doing. So I guess that's what I call big support. We'll go from there. Also want to thank the Dublin Entrepreneurial Center for their support of this particular program. The Dublin Entrepreneurial Center is a space incubator support mechanism located in Dublin. They do have office space. They have different things all the way from, hotspot type cubicles that you can come in. You can use the address. They have conference rooms, variety of different things that can be very supportive of individuals who are building businesses. If you are in maybe working from home and are looking to kind of get out and do some different things, this is a great space. And I think the prices are pretty good. It's supported in part by the city of Dublin. And of course, the actual owner, which is Dark Points, is a business here that actually owns the space and has a data center in the center of it. So it is a great space. And if you are interested in more information on that, go to the website, which is decindublin.com, and you can find out all the information that you are interested in. So as I mentioned, we are going to talk about our Latino SBDC at the Small Business Development Center at Columbus State Community College. Those of you who have followed the Small Business Breakthroughs in the past, you know the drill. The Small Business Development Center is a national grant funded program that supports entrepreneurs, individuals that are either anywhere from I have an idea and I'm interested in starting a business, but that's kind of all I know, to I've been in business for a long time and I'm trying to do some different things. As a matter of fact, our next Small Business Breakthrough, which will be held on the regular date, which is the 24th of October, is going to talk about succession planning. So literally from the beginning to possibly the end of the business, we do have you covered. So sometimes what we do with the SBDC is we look at ways that we can find to kind of meet the needs of different groups, different communities. Those of you that are familiar with some of the things that we've done here in the SBDC, you know that we do a lot of stuff around funding. We do a lot of stuff with our Kiva program, which I think is a very unique micro loan program that's kind of a blend of crowdfunding and traditional lending. And we also want to actually service various communities that maybe have special needs in the community. And one of the things that we've done in the past is that we've had the opportunity to host a Latino SBDC. And Ariana is well-versed to talk about that because she was actually the director before it came to the SBDC. And I think that was in 2010. And then was the director when it came to the SBDC. So Ariana, if you want to kind of, introduce yourself, obviously, I didn't ask you to do that, but tell me about, your experience having been, with the Latino Center, back in the good old continent days to, kind of where you kind of see us sitting, right now.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Ariana Barrieta, and as Mike said, I'm the Small Business Coordinator for the City of Columbus. Back in 2009, 2010, I was lucky enough to join the Latino SBDC when we were essentially a standalone center, but like part of another organization. And ultimately, well, one, I found my passion in small business advising, having been lucky enough to have that experience to run that center. And ultimately, what I found was that the Latino community wanted support, but they didn't know where to go to. They didn't know where to go. And especially when language was a barrier, it was important for the community to have someone that was bilingual, as well as, understood the culture, the traditions, and maybe had an idea. Like, I think one of the biggest pieces that I focused on was making sure that our clients that were coming from another country understood the differences between, having a business in Latin America, Mexico, Central, South America, and then having a business here in the States. What they could expect, what was different, because ultimately I saw my job as supporting the Latino community and everyone, because the Latino SBDC hasn't always been like, we're not exclusionary. Like, we absolutely support the Latino community as well as anyone that would come through, right? Like, that's what the SBDC is. SBDC supports everyone. And so we just, at the Latino SBDC, we just, the difference was that we also had a focus, right? Not exclusionary, but like a focus in the Latino community. And so I saw my role at the Latino SBDC as making sure that the community had the opportunity to thrive, coming to this country, wanting to live out the American dream. And what was, how could they do that? What were the laws? What were the regulations? Something that perhaps was very different from their home countries. And that's what I see still today. I'm really excited about having Pamela on board, because she's going to continue the tradition, the outreach, the support that is so necessary, because our Latino community is growing. And right, like, Latinas are the segment of the population that are starting businesses the quickest, the most. Could have said that a little better. That's a great soundbite, but you know what I mean. So they are they are the segment of the population that are opening up businesses the most, right? And so how can we continue to support them as Latinas open businesses, support their families, and create wealth, right? Create wealth for their families and live out the American dream, right? Because that's why we're all here.
Yeah, absolutely. Pamela, let's bring you in. And so you've been on board with us for, since June, so you should be pretty well versed in what we're doing. Can you talk a little bit about, what you've heard? We've talked about, Ariana's talked about, some of the history, but kind of where you see the center now and where you want it to go.
Okay. Well, thank you, Mike. Ariana, so good to have you here. Well, what I'm seeing right now, as Ariana mentioned, the Latino community has been growing in the last 10 years, and is expected to grow more in the next 10 years. So what I'm seeing is a lot of needs, and what I'm willing to do is provide all these services that SBDC has been doing for a long time, and also the Latino Center has been doing. I want to provide these services tailored to the community. It's not the same. It's not the same 10 years ago and what we need right now, because, you know, the world has been evolving. And for example, 10 years ago, you didn't need, for example, digital marketing, for example. So now there is something new that we have to provide, that kind of services tailored to the community, because it's different. Even when digital marketing is the same for everybody, we need to adjust what our community needs. So that's what I'm willing to do, to provide services that is currently needed and tailor to our community, not just tailor the services, also delivered in Spanish. That's the main point for us.
Yeah, I was gonna mention that. So I mean, I I love the point about, you know, creating these things tailored to the community. But I think one of the key pieces is it's offered in Spanish. So I mean, the SBDC provides advising services which are free of charge. Our SBDC, typically we don't charge for training, different things of that nature, and we'll be able to have these types of trainings available also in Spanish. So I think that's important. And I will tell you where it kind of hit home to me that we really need to do something. And I think this was actually before 2010, that I had a gentleman come in, he wanted to start a business. English was not his primary language. And he was, you know, he and I were talking, that's all I speak is English. And it was difficult to really be able to communicate, because I can get people confused, and we all can, just talk about business, right? If you don't know business, we can really confuse you if we choose to. But not taking, okay, here's confusing business stuff that I don't know anything about, and then do it in a language that you're not used to. And it became really apparent to me that this was really important for us to have, which is why then when we had the SBDC, we were able to kind of work with them. And then when we were able to bring it on board, I think that really made a difference. So, Ariana, so the city of Columbus is helping us support this. Can you talk about, you know, kind of the city's approach to this, the city's mindset relating to obviously new Americans, because you mentioned that, but obviously also the Hispanic and Latino community, and some of the things that the city's doing? Obviously, this is a big part of that, but some of the other things.
Yeah, sure. So the focus of everything that we do is twofold. One, you know, from Mayor Ginther's Opportunity Rising, one of the focus is to make sure that all residents have opportunities regardless of where they live or where they're from, like what their background is. And so this is a beautiful example of how we want to be able to support everyone that's here in Columbus. And so our office specifically with small businesses. And so back in 2019, the city did a study, and what came from that was the small business agenda, where we took a look at the small business community and looked at what's working, and then what are the gaps that we get to fill. And so that ultimately, the small business agenda for our office is our guiding star. That's what we're consistently focused on. And not surprising, what we found was that, especially during COVID, the segments of the population that were the hardest hit were minorities, folks living in low to moderate income areas, women-owned businesses, veteran-owned businesses, and LGBTQ-owned businesses. And so a lot of our programming, again, like, we support all, because we're not going to be exclusionary. That's not what we're about. And we have focus, we put a focus on these segments of the population that get to have a little bit more support. And so minority businesses is one of those segments. And so this was a way for us to support the Latino community. You know, we support minority businesses in a lot of different ways. And the support of Latino SBDC is our way to support the Latino community, because ultimately the city, you know, I wish we all had unlimited funds, and shockingly we don't. So, you know, we wanted to, like, I think, of course, I mean, I don't think, I know everyone would love a grant, like, and by grant, I mean cash in hand for your business, right? Like, we get consistently, I think everyone here on this screen has, you know, answered all kinds of calls asking for their grant to start their business. And given that we're not able to do that, how else can we support the community in flourishing? And so this is the best option. You know, providing support to the SBDC overall, and then specifically the Latino SBDC as well, to teach people what they don't know about businesses, and providing them this amazing resource where, I mean, Mike, you said it, the SBDC supports businesses from the very beginning until the very end. And the best thing that we could do as a funder is to provide the expertise that businesses can then connect to throughout the life of their business, right? So they launch they have an idea, they come to the SBDC, they launch their business, and then they continue to stay connected, you know, having a resource, having a different perspective, having a partner in their business, so that whatever comes, you know, they don't feel alone, because entrepreneurship can be extremely lonely, and it doesn't have to be if you don't choose it. And so now, you know, through the SBDC, there's a resource in both English and now in Spanish as well.
So first of all, making a note, city does not have unlimited cash. Okay, I have that down. Bruce, make sure I bring that up.
The first I've heard of this, right?
Yeah, I know, it's crazy. You know, one of the things too that I was actually talking to a gentleman this morning. I was talking to a gentleman this morning, and we were talking about, for an entrepreneur to be able to figure out the ecosystem here. You know, we have, I think, you know, I haven't been everywhere, but I know that the support mechanism here in Central Ohio for entrepreneurs, I think, is huge. I mean, I think there's all kinds of support. This is probably one area that, if you want to start a business, there's no shortage of support for you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one of the ways that the city has tried to help entrepreneurs sort that out is through the Small Biz Hub, correct? So,
yes.
So we'll kind of deviate off the Latino SBDC for a second, but do you want to talk about that? Because I think it's really important for people to understand, because it's really easy to get confused. You could end up in one place, and you know that's not what they do, and then you don't know what to go.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Part of what came out from the small business agenda is, yes, in our region, whether small businesses know it or not, we are all extremely lucky that we have such a diverse and strong ecosystem that supports small businesses. And that said, like exactly what you said, Mike, given that there's so much available, it can be confusing. It can be frustrating to us, either a new business owner or an existing business owner that has like launched, made it work, and now suddenly they find out that there were all these resources that they could have tapped into. And so what came out of the small business agenda was a need to put everything into one place. And so with the support of a lot of our partners, SBDC included, we launched the Columbus Small Biz Hub, which essentially what it is, it's an online portal that puts like everything, all the organizations, all the resources in our Columbus area, and it puts it all into one place. And so then you as a small business owner, if you're looking for something in particular, you can go onto the hub and search grants. You can search, right? Because that's something that people always search. You can search funding because, you know, as small businesses, there's never a lack of, you know, funding need. Thanks, Bruce, for posting that. And so you can look to see, okay, so if I'm looking for funding, these are all the organizations that provide funding or can support me with funding, right? So like the SBDC has Kiva, which is an incredible resource. You know, Kiva provides 0% interest on loans up to 20,000, right? I think that's what Ellen told me. 15, 20 grand.
Well, 15 primarily, but there is a way that if you've gotten a Kiva loan in the past, you can now get it to 25.
Oh, got it. Okay. Yeah. But so like ultimately, if it's your first time, 15 grand at zero interest, I mean, there's no better like that.
Yeah.
It doesn't get better than that. And a lot of people don't know that Kiva is even a possibility. And so, you know, putting all of that into one place so that small business owner, like I just met with a small business owner that Pamela, I'm going to connect you to. She is on the West Side. She's Latina. She wants to grow her business and she needs some funding. And so I told her about Kiva and it was exactly the amount that she needs. And so, you know, wanting to fill out the application in order to start that process. But she didn't know that that was a possibility. And so the hub provides that opportunity for folks to at least start searching to see what is available. And if they still have questions, you know, they can reach out to us and we're happy to connect them to whatever it is that they need. But the hub provides that. And right now we're still in the beta testing of it, but the next step is in 2025, we're going to launch the B2B piece of the hub, which, you know, essentially the whole purpose of our office is to support small businesses in thriving. And so part of thriving is to grow. And so like what better way to grow than to connect small businesses to each other so that they can do business with each other and grow. And so the B2B piece on the hub is essentially going to be like a Craigslist for small businesses. So small business A, I have a restaurant and the last thing I want to do, like tying it back to Pamela's point, I am a chef. I don't want to touch my social media pages. I don't understand it, or I just don't want to spend the time doing it. So I'd rather pay someone to do it. So putting that post, you know, on the B2B page, you know, small business, am looking for a social media manager for 5 hours a week. And so then a small business, a social media small business owner would then connect with this restaurant owner, and then they would take it offline and figure out contract, pricing, duration. We're just providing the connection so that if they're a good fit and they want to work with each other, great, take it offline and figure it out, but support each other in the process. And so that's coming in 2025. But ultimately, what we want the hub to be is, as it continues to grow and more small businesses hear about it, that whenever someone says, oh, I want to start a business, oh, like someone will say, oh, you know what, I know of this resource. Go to the hub and figure out, who you get to talk to based on what it is that you're focused on, right? Like small business, technology, agriculture, right? Like there are all different types of organizations that focus on specific types of businesses. And so that's what we want. That's the dream. That's the goal.
Yeah. Okay. Well, got to start someplace. So you guys have it up, and that's great. And so Pamela, let's kind of talk about the center a little bit, talk about you. So if you can kind of tell us a little bit about you, your background, kind of your experience. And I do want to make one point. When we did, the initial interviews and we asked you that question, 20 minutes later, we were still, hearing about your background. But if you want to just give us a kind of, what do you think really helps you understand what's going on with individuals in the community that's looking for support?
Okay. Well, talking about a little bit of my professional background, I hold a bachelor degree in public relations, and most of my experience relies on marketing, communications, customer service, sales, and also public relations. But a significant part of my career has been working, in specific with Central Ohio. I've been working closely with the Hispanic Chamber, or with the Hispanic community, I'm sorry, in different kind of organizations. So for my perspective, this has been giving me a lot of knowledge, or at least I'm aware of the needs of the community. And I will say as well, I'm also a proud small business owner. So that gives me another point of view of what the business owners face. In a specific, my community. It's not just the language barriers, it's also access to capital, or even also understanding regulatory requirements. So I understand for different points of views from my professional background, for my experience working with the Hispanic community, and as a small business owner, I have a pretty good understanding. Obviously, I don't know everything, but the good part is that I joined an amazing team here at the SBDC, and I'm not by myself. So we have a great team of advisors here with a lot of experience and knowledge. So I can rely on them when I need a specific understanding. So yeah, this is what I've been seeing my professional background with what I'm willing to do with the Hispanic community.
That's one of the things I think with the SBDC, with our SBDC for certain, that's, I'm not saying it's unique, but I think it's important, is that we have people that are experts in different areas.
Right.
So you talk about your expertise in marketing and public relations. We have individuals that are experts in market research. We have individuals that are experts in financing. We have other, Tanya's an expert in marketing also.
Right.
We have Bruce. We're still working on kind of where he's at, but no, but I will say, Bruce is an expert. He does a great job, and he's an expert really at the startup piece. I mean, he plugs right into what we're doing and working with folks. But the other thing that's beautiful about it is, because of this expertise, you can talk to Pamela about funding, and you can talk to Pamela about market research, even though her background is kind of in this other space, because we do have this support mechanism built in amongst the team. That's really important. And what I thought was great, really, I think the first client you worked with was a Kiva client.
Right.
that they
Uh-huh.
ended up going through Kiva.
And it
So,
was really successful.
yeah, and they were funded, it was successful, and you work closely with Ellen Harvey, who is our Kiva manager, and it all worked out great. So I think that's really important.
Right.
And I want people to know that, you know, all of the SBDC services are available to you in English and in Spanish, even though we only have one person really that can speak Spanish.
Mhm.
Can you talk a little bit, Pamela, because we brought this up a little bit, and you've brought this up a little bit too, is
Mhm.
I'm going to talk eventually here about specific services and stuff, but you know, this Latino SBDC that we have here, I mean, one of the things I did like when we talked was your connection to the community, your understanding of what was out there, what was in the community, who was who, different
Mhm.
things like that. But being able to really tie in what we're doing with the SBDC into the culture, to be able to really speak to individuals that, you know, are maybe new to the United States, you know, like yourself, you had started a business in Mexico,
Mhm.
and you've started a business here.
Right.
So you have an understanding of kind of the differences between different areas, and to be able to kind of connect all those.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Has been a journey right now, understanding a little bit more. I mean, I'm aware of the needs of the community, and I've been working here for 3 months already, and I've been able to connect with a different organizations that I knew already, or another new organizations that we are looking for the same thing. I mean, we are looking to uh, help the community to succeed in general, not just small businesses. So working with them, I'm finding new challenges. This has been helping me to provide the services that are really needed. No?
Yeah, for sure. What do you see? This is kind of for both of you, but we'll start with Pamela. I mean, what do you see as some of the key issues
Mhm.
that individuals kind of in the Latino and Hispanic communities here in Central Ohio
Mhm.
are facing when they are looking to start a business, or even if they have something, to really kind of be able to scale and grow that? Mhm.
Okay. What I'm seeing, and I should say, is not different from the population at large. I mean, the main thing will be, of course, the language barrier, obviously, but behind that will be exactly the same that everybody is facing. And for example, having a business plan. So many people are doing business and doesn't have a business plan. And that is your that is going to help you to give you the steps, or to adjust your objectives. And if you don't have, you can be lost. So talking about a business plan, or also I've been seeing understanding the regulations, the requirements. I think this is the big thing. It's not the same, as Ariana already mentioned, it's not the same having a business back in your country and then coming here and start a business again. It's not difficult, but it's hard to understand the regulations. The regulations and requirements are different. And it can be a lot of information out there. And most of the information is in English, of course, but it's a lot. And sometimes you can be lost with so many information. So one of the things that we are that we are doing here, actually, with all the team, but now with me in Spanish, we try to give them the right path, at least to tell them what is the requirements or regulations that a specific business needs to be in order or in compliance. So I will say it can be so many things like business plan again, or also there is also so much need on financial literacy. There is also an understanding or taxes. All of these topics related with small business, and I'm sure it's not only for the Hispanic communities, for the community at large, there is confusion. So what what I'm trying or what I'm willing to do is to provide this information, this information on trainings or workshops to try to tell them or explain them what is the difference, for example, in taxes, or about financials, understanding your numbers. That's critical when you're doing a business. Sometimes you start doing a business because you are good at it, and that's good. That's why you are doing business. But sometimes you are not really good at marketing or at financials, but understanding that is gonna help you at least to hire the right person. And if not, you can handle at least for the beginning. Right.
So, Ariana, do you want to jump in there too? I mean, anything that you've seen in your experience with doing this, or now your current experience working with the city that are differences that that we're able to kind of support relating to the SBDC?
Yeah, I mean, I think when the SBDC launched Mercadito Raíces to support, like, specifically, right, when that program launched, it was specifically to support food-based businesses, because it's, in my experience, it's so heavily regulated here.
Right.
Right? I mean, like, in Mexico, you go to every corner and you get your tamales, you get your tacos, like whatever the person has decided to sell there. And whatever, right? You eat it because that's what it is. And like here, no, that's not possible. And so it's like teaching our community that, like, you might make the most incredible tamales, and if they have meat in them, it must be in a commercial kitchen, right? Like all of these, like the cottage food industry, all the specifics. I think food is always one that comes to mind. And then also like all the different requirements for insurance or workers' comp, or, like Pamela said, taxes. It just seems to be so different. And our job, I always said, like, my job is not to dictate how you must run your business, but my job was always to let you know all the rules and regulations on how to be successful in your business and be a good citizen of this country and pay taxes and all that. And then, like, whatever you chose to do was, your decision. But at least you knew, if you're making tamales with me and you're doing it from home and then you get caught, like, there's not going to be any surprise that you weren't supposed to do it, right? Like, and if it's something where you do want to make, chicken tamales, okay, let's find you a commercial kitchen. Let's find you a ghost kitchen where you could start growing that business, right? But it's like, I mean, starting a small business is the easiest part of having a business. And that said, it's not that easy, especially depending on the type of business that you're launching. And so our job is always to make sure that we have removed as many barriers as possible so that, folks aren't surprised. And so, and given the fact that we're working a lot with the immigrant population, we want to make sure that they are aware of the differences here when they, when they're doing business in this country so that they can be successful.
Yeah. Pamela, I think you mentioned it before we got started, but I thought it was really good. We've talked about taxes a couple of times, but it's can become confusing to anybody, but especially again, English isn't your primary language. The various types of taxes you have to deal with, and to be able to then pay the taxes, because again, a lot of the mechanisms to pay it are not in Spanish. So, you talked about, hey, we got to do sales tax, we've got to do income tax, and all of this gets confusing. You want to kind of talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is one of the most asking question, I should say. It can be confusing because you have sales taxes, especially if you are selling a product, or even if you are selling food, you need to charge taxes. But it's going to depend if you have a premises or okay, it's overwhelming. So it's hard for a business owner to understand. And obviously, if it's not in your own language, could be challenging. So we have sales taxes for one side, and it's going to depend on your product or your service. Also, depends on where you are doing business, in which county are you doing business. Also, how much are you selling is going to depend if you are gonna file your taxes once a month or twice a year. So there's different, and you can hear for someone else saying, no, I'm paying my taxes once a year, but your product is different. So you have to understand what will be the right way for your business.
Right.
So yeah, absolutely, sales tax, and obviously the percentage is different for each county, especially if you are doing business for example, selling a product in a farmer's market, and if you are selling in Cleveland or Toledo or somewhere else, it can be different. It's not the same that you charge here in Franklin. So understanding that could be challenging, and also understanding your taxes, but about income taxes is something different. Some people get confused. Probably they think that is the same thing. So income taxes will be something different, and you have to pay your taxes in 3 different levels, and you have to understand how that works. And it's going to depend, obviously, in your structure, how you are doing business. If you are doing your business as a sole proprietorship or as a LLC, it can be different as well. So definitely, taxes is a really important topic for small businesses. I will say the same will be for the community at large, but for Hispanic community will be as well a real challenge. So understanding all these regulations is challenging. So we are here to help on all of these topics. We are here to help the community to understand how all of this works.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I think that's important, because again, there's not only different layers of taxes you get to pay, there's different ways to pay it.
Right.
So paying federal income tax is one thing, paying sales tax through the Ohio Business Gateway is, it's challenging. That's challenging for anybody. And it's not in Spanish. So that makes it tricky. And, you do business in the city of Columbus, you get to pay taxes there. I mean, it's a part of doing business, but being able to figure out and make sure you're doing it. And that's where this kind of support, I think, comes in. And that's where I think this kind of support's really, really valuable. We do have we have a couple things. So number one, Um, Pamela, talk us about what are some of the kind of specific services that you're planning on offering? What are maybe some of the workshops, trainings, and different things like that you're thinking about or planning as we come into the balance of this year and into the new year?
Right, absolutely. Well, I should say, oh, my main service, not just mine, the SBDC core offering is the one-on-one advising. So that's the main thing. We are here to support our clients in one-on-one level. So that's totally different because you will have the chance to sit with an advisor and talk about your specific needs. So that will be my main focus, to work on one-on-one level. That will give me that is gonna allow me to offer a personalized service or guidance, because I'm gonna be able to know your specific needs and help you to walk to all of this process. So that will be the main service that I will be offering, or I'm offering right now. And also my colleagues here, that's our main focus, to work on advising. But also I will be offering trainings and workshops in a specific needs or skills that small businesses owners needs. For it can be business planning, or even how to start your business will be the first one, no? Understanding how it works, starting a business here in US, how it looks like. So that will be one of the mains and will be the basics. But then how you can write your business plan, or understanding your financials. Also securing funding. Both scenarios, or traditional banks and alternative lenders, as you already mentioned. There's amazing options like Kiva. So offering this kind of knowledge through workshops and training, that's that I'm willing to have. I will have this available in person and online also, to help business owners. Sometimes you don't have enough time, so you can have it online as well. So this is something that I'm planning to have in the upcoming months, and obviously next year. And also, I will be introducing the Latino SBDC digital edition. So this will be a resource that I'm willing to have in our platforms, with all of this information available in Spanish, of course, available in our platforms anytime or on demand. So I will be offering these resources, and anytime you want it, you can have it.
So the digital edition, talk a little bit more about that. That's something like we're doing here, right?
Right. It's something similar.
Yeah. So, so that would be something where you would have individuals on that can talk about different aspects of business, whether they be entrepreneurs that have built and grown businesses and can share their experiences, or experts. I know that you've got one coming up planned with the workers' compensation to really explain how that works, different things like that. And it would be in Spanish.
Right. Yeah, that will be exactly the same. It will be a really good copy of breakthroughs. I couldn't find a real word similar than breakthroughs. So I come up with this amazing name. Uh, Edición Digital will be in Spanish, digital edition. And what I'm willing to do is to have same resources that we have with the SBDC, with the breakthroughs, and bringing people with a lot of experience or business owners to share experiences or to better understanding on a specific topic like workers' compensation or I've been working also with another person, expert in trademarks, and all of this in Spanish. That's
Right.
my goal, having all of this information in Spanish and online. So you will be able to get this information anytime in our platforms or on demand. So yeah, I'm not doing anything different that has been done with the SBDC. I'm doing the same thing. I'm tailoring the services and doing it in Spanish.
Yeah, I think that's going to be excellent, because again, you can share your experience and share information. You won't have, I mean, you'll be a great host, but you're not me. But otherwise, all right, I did that for Ariana, actually. There is a couple questions on here that I just wanted to touch on. So number one, you're going to have access to everything that we have in the core SBDC, but you're actually going to be able to have access to a variety of business development tools that are in Spanish, like Growth Wheel and things of that nature. And then they ask, will you be providing a business plan manual in Spanish, different things like that. I think we're really talking about, kind of templates in Spanish for business planning, different things like that. I know that a lot of our initial tools, I haven't been on with us very long, but I think the game plan is that a lot of the stuff we're doing, you're going to be able to, if we're doing it in English, we should be able to also do it in Spanish, and you'll be able to actually come in and translate that for us to be able to do those types of things. The other question here, if we're talking about business planning, different things like that. Now, currently, we have every other month, we have a small business tax workshop, which is what has been referenced here. The next one is on the 24th at 6 o'clock. You can go to our website, which is sbdccolumbus.com, and go to the events and see all of the stuff that's available. Currently, that's in English. Dave Krebs, CPA, does a fantastic job with it. It's been doing it for us for years. But I would envision being able to offer that in Spanish by a CPA that can speak to that. I can't remember, Ariana, did we used to do a tax workshop of some sort? Oh yeah, you did it. Okay. That's it. But
Not a CPA, and I was very quick to say that at the beginning. And yeah, we did it.
yeah. But I mean, I think that's the kind of stuff that we want to do. Bruce has been really good at putting together business clinics on specific topics, so I see us being able to do those types of things. So a lot of the great tools that we're able to use as an SBDC will also now be available in Spanish. Gonna give us a little bit of time on a couple of them, but we're working on it, and we're going to get that stuff done. So I think that's really, really important. So with that, we are about at an hour, and we're going to go ahead and wrap up. I appreciate everybody for joining us. I appreciate Ariana and Pamela for joining us today. I appreciate all the work that Bruce Walters does in behind the scenes to make sure that this comes off and works. And we'll kind of wrap up here. Pamela, you have any kind of final thoughts that you would or advice that maybe you would give individuals that are, watching this when we put it up on our YouTube channel? What are some final quick thoughts that they should be focusing on like right now to help move their business forward?
Okay, first I will say, if you want to be involved with the Latino SBDC, with the Latino Center, we have our website. So you can find the Latino SBDC, clicking on SBDC Columbus SBDC.
Yeah, that's it.
Just if you can help me there. But so you can find this resource there. We already have this website live. So if you want to be involved, do not hesitate to reach out. And we will schedule an initial consultation, and we can assess what are your needs. So that will be one of the first things that I will say. Don't hesitate to reach out. You are not alone, and we are here to help you navigate all this business world. So that will be the first thing. And second one, I mean, there's a lot of resources, but right now, all of them are in English. So I'm working on move forward with this and having available in Spanish. So yeah, the first point right now will be in touch. Do not hesitate. It can be also calling our office, and we will set up an appointment.
Yeah. And if you go to our website, so it is sbdccolumbus.com. But if you go to that, sbdccolumbus.com/Latino,
Latino
you can
SBDC.
actually get more information about what we're doing, different things like that. You can always reach out to our primary number. You can reach out to Pamela directly.
Right.
You need assistance, and we will definitely be there to support you going forward. So again, we're going to go ahead and wrap up, but I thank you guys for joining us. I think this is something we've wanted to do for a long time. And the pandemic kind of put we had to kind of stop for a little bit, but now I think we're back. I think Pamela's done an amazing job. I've seen a lot of people, I've been doing this for 22 years. So a lot of great staff members, a lot of great people that's worked for us. I've been really impressed with Pamela just jumping in and getting after it and getting done, because it's not easy sometimes for, if you haven't done this kind of work, even if you kind of worked in banking or you've worked in business. I mean, it's a little bit different, and Pamela's done a great job, and I think she's going to be a great part of our team and a great part of the community going forward. So we are excited for what lies ahead for us, and we encourage you to check out the website. Keep an eye out for the digital edition video podcast that we're going to be doing, and keep an eye out for some of the great services that we're going to be offering in Spanish through the Ohio SBDC at Columbus State Community College. So with that, I want to thank again everybody that's been involved, and I'm looking forward to the future. And I want you all to have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you.